Pardon me. Starting in a little bit of a frazzle this morning because I almost slept through my alarm. And I hate doing that. And it's rare for me because I'm normally a one alarm kind of gal. I don't normally need that second little snoozy reminder, but oh. When my alarm rang, I was in such a deep sleep and I just started drifting back and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna sleep through my lesson. Because you guys, this morning, I've got a Serbian lesson. I have officially started taking Serbian lessons to learn the language of my darling sweet husband. I'm taking online lessons from some sweet people in Belgrade. And I've had 2 lessons so far and I find myself really stupid. I only speak English, okay? I feel like it's such a sad part of my life. If I could have a wish, if I were given 3 wishes, one of them would be to speak, write, and understand every language. Oh, it's my dream. But yeah, because the lessons are in Belgrade, I have to do them early morning to match up with their evening. So yeah, see you in an hour because I almost slept through this morning. Oh my. Dobro jutro.
Dobro jutro.
Or dobro večer for you. Oh. Guys, I feel so stupid. Really. Memorization and I are not friends. Like, this is gonna be a long battle for me. But I'm just happy that I'm finally doing something about it because it's something that was at the back of my mind being like, okay, so what? I'm gonna be with this person forever and not be able to speak his language with his family and potentially my future family? Like, hell nah. Hello, FOMO. So I've got to at least be able to do something. And listen, Jelim Kafu over here, okay? So I'm gonna make a coffee. Oh my god. I tried the delayed caffeine thing this morning. What a mistake. What a mistake. Trying to sit through a language lesson without coffee coursing through my veins. Let there be life. I just had a little washing of my brushes. I just gave my brushes a little bath here because I woke up this morning. This actually appeared last night. Look at the rash across my face. How crazy is that? It started appearing yesterday and I was like, has my skin had its last straw? Because I hadn't washed my brushes in so long. They were actually foul. Sometimes when this happens, I just don't know. It goes away within a day, but I always find it really interesting that this can just pop up seemingly out of nowhere. It's crazy. So anyway, just wash my brushes. What I need to do is actually start washing my brushes and not just using the little Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. I need to give them like a proper deep thorough wash and stop being disgusting. So there we go. I wanted to have a continuation from the chat that I had with you guys at the end of April where I was talking about my luxury goods and the state of luxury goods in the world and my thoughts on it. And I showed you guys a few things that I had posted on Depop and that I was parting ways with and why. And there were so many good comments on that video and I've been sitting on it and saving them as I've been going, and I wanted to kind of continue that chat, give you a little update on some of my thoughts and respond to some of the comments from that video because I thought it was great. It was a great discussion, and obviously the discussion online has continued since then. I've seen so many more videos, so many people talking about it, and I actually had a little chat with Victoria, my darling friend at In The Fro here on YouTube. Had a little chat with her and her feelings because I saw that she had posted a video discussing her thoughts on the subject too, and it's been a huge discussion online. Actually, someone had commented saying that there was an article posted about it in Emma Chamberlain. I didn't actually see that video of her going through her closet. I should have watched that, but apparently the whole act of decluttering and kind of getting rid of luxury goods is a trend in itself, it seems, which totally, I mean, I think when we all collectively consume the content together, we're all going through similar things, we're all growing up together. I think it's natural that a lot of this does happen at the same time, but I wanted to continue my chat and let's talk about it. So I'm going to go through some of the comments from that video and just do my makeup as we go on. So there were a lot of people who kind of commented things like, you shouldn't sell your things, take a pause before you sell your luxury bags. It's not like you need the cash tomorrow, so don't do something you'll regret. Stashing those away for a future child or godchild, sister, niece, etc. Those are heirloom pieces. And just the general idea of like, you've already purchased the bags, why not just keep them and enjoy them? And then there are a lot of people who kind of echo that sentiment of just holding on to things. They could be heirloom pieces for the future or to hold on to them as an investment so that you can sell them later down the line. And you know, anytime I've posted about my bag collection over the last handful of years and anytime I've sold a bag. People will always comment similar things to this, and overall I don't agree, like, especially because I'm so up in the air about the whole kids thing. Like, I would never hold on to something to be like, oh, this might be an heirloom for my child someday. Like, what if I can't have kids? Like that, first of all. Yes, there are plenty of nieces and nephews and friends' kids and things that I could give items to, but sorry, love you. I would absolutely rather take that cash right now and either save that towards my future or use that money to purchase something that I can use and love in the moment. I'm not going to let something sit and collect dust on a shelf and take up space which could otherwise be occupied or otherwise enjoyed. I'm a very much like, you only live once kind of thing. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Why not enjoy the now? And that's generally how I feel about most of my items. I sit there and I'm like, I'm sorry, I spent $4,000 on this bag that could otherwise be a sauna. And I know I keep saying the sauna as a reference, but it's because it's something that Dan and I so desperately want to purchase for our house, and we've just been hemming and hawing over it because listen, it's a big spendy purchase, and we got a plan for that. We want to make sure that it's right. And yeah, no, literally, I look at this gorgeous little rainbow Chanel bag, which, update, I have in fact sold. Someone actually messaged me like the second I posted that on my Depop and was like, hey, I live in Vancouver, can I purchase it? And I was like, no problem, I'll bring it to you tonight, girl. So that went really quickly. So also, thank you so much everyone who has been going through the items on my Depop. Thank you for alleviating some of this guilt that I feel, because yeah, when it comes to bigger life purchases, when it comes to home and life maintenance, and you know, bills pop up out of nowhere. When you have a house, the maintenance and upkeep costs just never end. And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, yeah, you know what, this bag that I'm not using, that I'm holding on to, that may or may not be an heirloom down the line after I have passed, like, no, you know what? You're actually gonna pay for my new bathroom mirrors. Thank you so much. Something that also just popped in my head. Is this true? I feel like I saw it. It's been many years since I've seen this, but wasn't that a whole thing that Drake was doing where he was just filling up a room of Hermes bags for his maybe future wife? That is something that happened, right? I'm not making that up. Oh my gosh, I remember seeing that and laughing so hard. Like, yeah, love the idea, but also if I'm talking about heirloom pieces and giving sweet little treasures to my future maybe children or other family members or friends, I would rather give them something that I have like used and loved. If it was a pair of earrings that I never took out, or a ring that I never took off. When my mom and my stepdad got married, they got married in Prague actually. It was so beautiful, but at the time their wedding bands had never arrived to Prague before the wedding, so they had gone to a random shop on the street and bought some silver bands just to wear for the wedding, and then they got their wedding bands later. So my mom had actually given me the wedding band that they wore during their wedding ceremony, and it's not the wedding band that she has been wearing for the rest of her life, but it was like so special because that's the ring that they used to get married, and she gave that to me, and I was like, the actual dollar value of it isn't significant by any means, but like the meaning of it is so special. And it was so special when she gave that to me, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna treasure this forever. I literally have it in a little treasure box in my closet, like something that actually holds significant meaning. If it was a treasured item from someone, or if it represented it like a certain time or a certain trip, like that to me is so much more special than just, oh, I spent a stupid amount of money on this bag, it sat collecting dust on my shelf, yes it's pretty, and yes it's a designer brand. Would I be thrilled if some distant relative decided to just hand me down a Chanel bag? Totally. But yeah, sorry future children, if I can recoup some of that cost and put that money towards something else, I'm gonna do it. I'm trying to improve upon my hoarding tendencies, not make them worse. Katie said, totally feel this. When I got my first big girl job, I picked up 4 bags from Saint Laurent, and while I love them, I'd never do it again. I do use them all the time. My personal opinion, use what you have, hold off on buying more. Bags shouldn't be an investment or an heirloom. Chuck your stuff in it and feel fabulous until it falls apart. And I love that so much. And I think that really nicely ties up how I feel about it in general, where there were so many moments where I was like, oh, I've had this accomplishment, or oh, I graduated university. You know, I want to celebrate this milestone. I should buy myself something fancy and something really nice to celebrate the occasion. And I still agree, but more so what I'm trying to say is that there's a limit to that. Like, it doesn't need to be a dollar for dollar amount to represent the significance of that thing that you're going through, or the milestone, or the achievement, or you don't need to put a dollar amount on your success. You don't need to put a dollar amount on your relationship. And that so often is the way that we live. We're like, oh, I graduated university, I should buy myself this really fancy, expensive thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I just spent tens of thousands of dollars and years of my life getting this university degree. Actually, I'd like to celebrate in a way that doesn't add to my crippling student loan debt. Thank you so much. And I know that we've definitely talked about this before, but so often we spend the most money on like nice, precious things. And then if you're like me, you get a little bit too scared to wear them outside because I'm too scared that I'm gonna ruin them. Or I might have spent more money on like a special occasion thing. Like when I first got into the world of buying designer goods and buying more expensive things, I was buying like really nice high heel shoes. I don't really wear a lot of super high heel shoes. Those are reserved for very special occasions or very random events if they come. And one of the first things that I had bought was a pair of like super high, gorgeous nude Christian Louboutin shoes. And listen, they are beautiful. I look back at those photos fondly. I think those shoes are fabulous, but oh my God, I spent so much money on them and I couldn't physically walk. Like they were causing me actual pain. And I bought them because the red bottom holds such like status significance, I guess. It's like, oh, I could have nude heels, but not just any nude heels. I'm gonna lift it up and you're gonna see these red bottoms and you're gonna see that I spent this money on them. Am I in pain? Am I dying? Am I about to black out? Yes, but it doesn't matter because look at me. I spent an absurd amount on these shoes that I can't even walk in. And you know, I did shortly thereafter part ways with those because I couldn't walk in them. What a silly thing to have spent all this money on something that's just causing me physical pain. So if you are using the items and getting the cost per wear and getting the love out of them, absolutely. Like there are so many things that I have bought and spent money on that I love and adore and that I use all the time. Like some of my bags that I've spent a painful amount on. I love them so much and I wear them so much that I don't even care because I'm like, these are being used, these are being loved by me. And that's great. Another perfect example of that are my Prada combat boots. Another silly amount of money that I had spent on something. I think I bought those at like the end of 2018. I think it was that winter. I don't know. As the years go on, my timeline gets more and more skewed in my brain, but I pull those beautiful babies out every single winter and I wear them all winter long. I wear them to the death. I wear them in snow, slush, mud. They have been through the ringer. They have seen the world with me and they continue to bring me so much joy, and that was a purchase well spent. Was it silly to have spent that much money just for some designer combat boots? Yes, but I feel less badly about it because I'm actually getting the wear out of them. I look at them and I'm like, oh, my sweet little precious angels. Same with my acne boots. So much money spent, really, for just a plain pair of black boots, but I wear them all the time. In the fall and winter, they might as well just be glued to my body because I live in them. So that, to me, worth it. There's little pieces like that that are just like, yes, if I'm wearing them, I feel so happy. But when I'm not wearing them and I'm being precious with them, that's when I get really upset. And that's why I sold the bags that I did, because they were sitting there. I was getting too scared to take them out. I was scared that someone was going to steal them from me. They felt too delicate. I thought that if I looked at them the wrong way, I was going to destroy it, especially that little rainbow tweed Chanel bag. I was like, oh my God, what if I like dropped my lipstick or dropped you in a puddle or something? There was some gunk on my hands. Like, no, I can't. I can't have the knowledge that I have spent that amount of money sitting here in something that is not being used. No. I want to quickly just pause to have a little lip moment because I had pulled out the Merit Bespoke lip liner when I was talking about the giveaways and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this. Where did this go? And I realized like when I sit here at my desk, this is so stupid. You guys are going to kill me. It was literally tucked like in the corner beside my little lip liner drawer. I don't know what. It had obviously just fallen to the side and I just had not seen it. I have not used this. I totally forgot that I had it. And the sweet giveaways were a sweet little reminder about its existence. So I thought I would pull it out and remind us all of its existence. Love the packaging, so cute, and it's that really nice cool toned lip liner shade that acts like a perfect little shadow and defining moment for the lips. I will say it's creamy, so I have to be a little bit more delicate with its application, but I just take my finger and rub it into my lips and it is such a pretty color. If you watch my recent video where I had the Sarah Daniels, the stylist, come over, this is the lip that I was wearing. By the way, I had put this lip liner on and the Chanel Boy lipstick. That was the lip combo and it was so pretty. Ugh, the only downside with the more creamy lip products is that they just don't last as well as something that's just a little bit drier. Like this is like wet. It's gonna slip off your lips just like a lip gloss. So that's all I'll say about that, but very, very pretty. Really nice color. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the Violette, the Bisou bombs, this one's Bonbon Myrtille. This gorgeous, gorgeous purple shade. Oh, you guys are at Sephora Canada now. So exciting. Literally saw them while I was doing a little scroll the other day. I was like, ah, no way. Thought I would update you. They are positively divine. Such a gorgeous little soft matte stain. So pretty. This is my favorite shade. I also have the red one, Bon Bon Coquelicot. Coquelicot. I feel like I will probably pull that out much more in the summertime because it's almost a little bit orangey. I think that might actually go very, very nicely with the picante lifestyle. But yeah, this one is like my fave. And yeah, they're at Sephora Canada now. So very exciting. Okay, I've kind of forgotten where I actually am with my makeup right now, but I'm just using my little Victoria Beckham eyeshadow palette, just doing a little one wash here. And then let's jump into the next batch of questions because someone had commented saying, I listened to Chelsea Handler talk about the LA fires and she was referencing friends grabbing their expensive designer shoes before abandoning their homes to the fire and kind of saying for what. I think it's a good reminder to love and enjoy these fun things, but to stay within our means. The spending alone doesn't give us so much anxiety that it takes away from the initial joy and keeps us from remembering what actually matters. And then someone else commented the same thing. I live in the suburbs of LA and after the fires in January, I've started putting my luxury bags for sale on Poshmark. When it really matters, they have no value and thousands of dollars would literally go up in flames. It's a new perspective. I've been on a quest to simplify my life. My family, my dog, their safety matters so much more. And this is really a huge discussion that Dan and I constantly have and something that I think about a lot, especially since I've lived in my house over the last 4 years. It's something that I didn't think of as much when I lived in an apartment building. I'm not sure why, but I think just like having this standalone little box of matchsticks is such a scary thing, and the reality is that there are disasters that can happen. The fires are so devastating, the flooding that happens. And when you have a home and you pay insurance and you have to select all those specific things, you're like, it just becomes so much more real. When you see it happen to others or you know people that it happens to, you're just like, oh God, yeah, what would I do? It does make you reflect on how you're living and what you would do if you were in that scenario. And I for sure have had that moment so many times where I'm like, oh my God, if my house burned down, if something happened, like what would I miss? What would I be so devastated by? What would I run in and get through the fire? It certainly wouldn't be any of my bags. The only reason why I would ever think to grab something like that is simply the amount of money that I spent on it and not the actual value that it has for me. It would be like, I would grab those things in an effort to resell them to try and recoup the loss of my burnt down home. Like that would be the only reason. I think Dan and I would run in and grab Meryl. We would grab our passports. Maybe we would grab a box of photos, like things that you literally could never get again and that would be lost. Like the things that hold real sentimental value. And it did make me want to go and get rid of everything. I'm like, oh, I don't want to hold on to these items just because of the amount. Like it does give me anxiety because all I think about is what would I do if I ruined it or if I lost it. For me, at least, it does take the joy out of it. When I am too precious with something, I'm like super anxious, super stressed that I'm going to do something to it or something's going to happen to it. And then, you know what? I would rather just remove that stress from my life because life is stressful enough. Why am I adding to it? And I have to tell you that over the last few weeks since I posted that video, since we had that first discussion, and also since I did sell some of these things that have been kind of holding this anxious weight over me, I have felt so much lighter. The day that I parted ways with that Chanel bag, I felt like I had closed a chapter. I don't know, it's this bizarre, overwhelming feeling and a literal like mental weight being lifted off my chest. I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna get asked about that. That's the Charlotte's palette of Beautifying Eye Trends Super Neutral. This little shade here, I think I've actually used it in 2 videos I've filmed for Revolve now, but this little bronzy shade, oh, it's so pretty. I'm not telling you to buy a palette for one eyeshadow, okay? There's a million on the planet, but I rediscovered that when I filmed a video for Revolve the other day and it's so very pretty. Yeah, I've just been feeling so much lighter about it and like I've just like confessed my sins or something to you guys. Like it has felt like a true new perspective and a new phase of life that I've been entering. And I do think that so many of us are feeling the same way. And Dan actually sent me a little meme on Instagram the other day and it was a picture of this like giant home with rolling fields and some horses. And it was like, some people dream of buying luxury goods. I dream of buying acres. And I was like, yeah, whether it's trendy or not, I think a lot of us are taking that perspective and being like, wait a second, I spent thousands of dollars on these silly little material things. Why am I not happy? Why am I not feeling content? Why are they not filling me with endless joy? It's because it doesn't. It's just stuff. I just realized I don't know how to say this word and that's really funny. Anyway, Springmore said, rich influencers eschewing? Rich influencers eschewing designer goods as a recession indicator. That is So funny. So funny. But yeah, I probably don't disagree. I think we're all very much aware of the insanity of the prices and the cost of living in the world right now. And hopefully we're all taking a step back and deciding to be a little bit more financially responsible during crazy times and then for the rest of life too. And I think that's also just a part of getting older where you're like, whoa, actually I have all of these real life adult costs and bills, and perhaps let's slow down on that spending for sure. Anyway, the other comments that I kind of wanted to briefly touch on or discuss are, so many of you were talking about how you still love to enjoy things, you still appreciate designer goods, and there still are so many beautiful objects in the world, but that you only purchase them secondhand. And I think that's a really good thing to note, and something that I love the idea of, and not necessarily making it a hard rule for myself. Like, I think anytime I make a hard rule and make a hard statement, there are so many amazing options available to us to shop secondhand at a discounted price and still enjoy the finer luxe goods of life, just not at the upfront retail cost. And there's so many secondhand stores, consignment stores, websites like The Real Real and Vestiaire Collective, where you can find so many amazing things, so many sweet little treasures, some fun vintage pieces, or you can go and shop and keep your eyes peeled. If you see something that came out new and you love it, you can always keep your eyes peeled and make alerts for whenever items like that get added on, and you don't have to shop it at the full price. You can get designer goods discounted, and I think that's a great tip if you still love that world. And then Kate also said, I think mid-range luxury, the Coaches, Tory Burches of the world are having a big moment right now. The luxury market isn't supposed to be accessible, and people no longer feel like aspiring to that anyways. I always told myself that when I got a big girl job and made a decent salary, I would buy a designer bag. 5 years into my career, and every time I've had the opportunity, I've gotten nauseous with the idea of spending a vacation's worth of money on a bag I'd be too scared to actually use. And I think that kind of echoes so many things that we've already talked about in this video. But yeah, I totally agree. There are so many brands that are kind of having a big resurgence right now, having a big comeback. And I think of Coach, Tory Burch, Lacoste, Michael Kors, those brands that still cost a pretty penny, but they're just not anywhere close to that high-end historic fashion house luxury brand price point, but still enough that it feels special and that you might think twice or 3 times or 4 times about the purchase before actually doing it. And there's a few items now that I have in my closet that I love so much, are absolute treasures to me. I don't feel like I have to be precious with them, and I also didn't spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a singular item. The main one that comes to mind when I talk about this is my beloved Lacoste bag, this little shoulder bag. This is actually one of the pieces that really started this trend for me, because I had that moment, you guys, this is so stupid, but you know how much I love Lacoste. And then I remember the day when I bought this, I was like, but it's not Chanel, it's not Dior. Like, am I gonna be lame if I wear this out to an event? And I literally sat there in that moment and had a chat with myself. I sat myself down. I was like, you're grounded for having that thought. That is so ridiculous. You love the bag. It's beautiful. It's leather. It's gorgeously made. Pebbled leather. It's not going to show any signs of wear. It fits my vlog camera and my phone. It's perfection. And lo and behold, I bought it, and it's been one of my most used bags since. And I regret every day not buying the other colors of it because it's perfect. And when I bought this and I started wearing it and traveling with it and wearing it 10 billion times more than any other bag that I have in my collection, I was like, I spent like $150 on this, and it's leather and it's perfect and it's beautiful and it's bringing me so much joy. Why am I sitting on these bags that have cost me thousands and thousands of dollars? This is insane. And that was this was kind of my big aha moment, my eureka moment. Love her endlessly. The other ones that I love so dearly, which are still expensive, still very beautifully made, but my flattered bags, my flattered suede pouch, and I also have the flattered black leather pouch. And when I look at them and how much they cost, and I sit them next to my Bottega pouches, and I'm like, they're both beautifully, exceptionally made. One just cost a fortune and one didn't. I think you guys get the point. I could go on and on and on about this, but at the end of the day, spend within your means. Buy things that bring you joy. Buy things that you're going to use and love and wear. Just because something costs more money doesn't mean that it's better or is going to bring more joy to your life. It's actually, well, maybe it's not the case for everybody, but in the case for me, the more money something costs, the more stress and anxiety I feel about it, and the less I want to actually wear that item for fear of destroying it. So just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who left those comments on that video. It was a great video. We had a great chat, and I just wanted to continue the conversation. So obviously, if there's anything else that you want me to chat about, if there's any other topics that we can discuss, if you have any more feelings, please do leave some comments on the video. Let's have a little chat about it. I would love to discuss. Oh my god, we didn't even get to the jewelry. I mentioned that in the last video, but I have so many more feelings. Anyway, this has been productive and lovely. Thank you very much for this chat. Yeah, let me know if you want this discussion to continue. I have many more thoughts, and I'm sure that you do too. So, love you so much. Thank you for being here and for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a new Everyday May video. Bye!